After reviewing the TED Talk that had to do with the science of fight or flight, there was several things about it that I liked. I'm a science major going to school for nursing, so I really enjoy learning the background of science things, which is the fight or flight. And the one thing that caught my attention was the Charles Darwin experiment that had to do with the snakes. I thought that was really great. And the quote that he said, which is, "My will and reason were powerless against the imagination of a danger which had never been experienced." For me, that means the first time you experience something, you're always nervous, whether it's giving a speech or it's rock climbing or scuba diving. Everyone's going to be nervous the first few times, but after that, you start to get comfortable with it, and it just comes natural after that. The TED Talk material that was covered in Chapter 1, which I found interesting, was practice being confident and feed off your crowd's energy. To me, that makes sense. The more that your crowd seems into it, the more you're going to be a little more confident. The elements of communication, which is where the speaker, which is me, that relays the message to you, who's the listener, that then decodes it into their own perspective and then gives feedback. I always thought feedback was just from a professor who sits in the back during a speech and gives you a grade. After reading Chapter 1, I've come to realize that it's not only that, it's people's facial expressions, their laughter, their movement itself, whether they're actually into it or not, can tell you a lot about feedback. Chapter 3, I read a lot about project confidence, which is relaying a good message that you feel confident in understanding. Testing the message, instead of just coming up and giving a speech the first time after writing it, test it. Give it some practice. Practice in front of your friends. Practicing delivery, which was another big thing, like I had just mentioned. Not only doing it in the shower, but doing it when there's people around, so you can get an idea of how good it's going to be. How to use these things in my life. Group communication isn't an issue for me. I bartend for a living, so I'm constantly talking to, if not one, multiple people at a time. It's the public communication that gets me nervous. I start talking too fast, and then I know that I'm going to talk too fast, causing me to get more nervous about my speech that's coming up. So for that, I'm going to slow down, practice more out loud, and do it with distractions, which was mentioned in Chapter 3.